Hello students. So in today's class we will be starting with arrays and strings. So our next chapter is all about arrays and string. Till now we have covered a lot of theories which which covers so many important concepts for programming. Now we are starting with some core concepts of programming language. So arrays are not only important for C, but it is also important for Java and other programming languages if you are going to study it in future. Also in future in higher semester there will be one subject called data structures and algorithms. In that subject you are going to use arrays a lot. So more the concept is stronger, it will be helpful to you in future. So please pay attention to this lectures. Now first I am going to cover with an array. What is arrays and why it is needed? So in this particular video I am going to cover the introduction of an array, types of an array, declaration of an array, initialization. In later videos I am going to cover so many programs which will demonstrate that how exactly arrays can be used in our practical life. Right? So let's begin our introduction to an array. Now first question that may arise in your brain is, what is a need of an array? What exactly an array is and what is its need? Why it is needed? So let me give you one example. Suppose you have declared one variable named as a and you have given data type it as integer. So you can write something as int a. Now I can initialize value at compile time or run time. So if I am initializing at compile time, I can write a equal to 10 over here as I have written. Otherwise, you can also ask a user to enter some value. You can use either of this code. So basically, whatever code you are using, based on that, value will be put on my bucket A, which is labeled as A, inside my memory. So inside a memory, at particular location, some portion will be labeled as A, and inside that 10 will be put, right? 10 will be there. Now, what if I am again after this statement in A equal to 10, I am again writing A equal to 20. What will be happening this time inside my memory? Basically, whatever value are there in A will be replaced with the new value. So now instead of 10, my memory location of A contains value 20 because I have updated its value. Right? Similar way, if I am writing 10 times initialization, say A equal to 10, A equal to 20, A equal to 55, A equal to 70, at the end of this program, whatever value is assigned at the last will be the final value of A. So, what if I want to preserve all this value? Because once this value is replaced with the newer value, the older value is vanished. I cannot retrieve this value. I cannot retrieve 10 once it is replaced with 20. Right? How my computer system knows that the previous value of A was 10? What if after 10 initialization I want to add all of this value? They are already finished, right? So in that case I can use an array. So by using an array we will get some capability to hold more than one value in single bucket. So imagine that you want to fill one bucket with so many balls instead of just one ball. So at that time you can use an array. what will be the syntax and how it can be practically used, that I'm going to show at the end of this video. So please stay connected with me. Now first introduction. So you can see the definition of an array over here. What this definition is saying, that array can have more than one elements, but all of these elements must have same data type. So if you have declared array as integer, then all of the values inside those bucket must have integer data type. Not a single value can have float or character or any other data type. So all of these members should have or must have same data type. So this is the first rule. Second rule, if you are having so many values, then how you can identify one particular value? Suppose you are having a bucket labeled as A, and if you are having so many white balls, then how we will identify? One will say you can just use your marker and paint a number on the ball, right? So you can identify that, yeah, inside that A bucket I want 5th number, or inside that A bucket I want that 7th number, right? So indexes are given to each array element so that it can be identified uniquely. So what are some two requirements for an array? It all should have same data type, and it must have some kind of index which will be starting with, mainly it will be starting with zeros. So if you are having 10 items, then first item will be indexed as 0 and the last item will be indexed as 9, size minus 1. Okay, so I have given an example of an array over here. Here array is labeled as A, so array name is A. Inside this array I have put 5 values, 10, 20, 100, 200 and 50. Now if I want to identify that what is the value at index 3, you can say that 200. So to identify 200 I just need one index, right? So this is an example of an array. Now what is the question? So if you want to write the members of an array or element of an array, you can write A and then in box braces you can write the index number. So A of 0, that means that particular value which is resides at index 0. Similarly, A of 3, that means the particular value of A which resides at position 3. Right? So this is how you can represent an array. Now basically how many types of arrays are available? Basically one-dimensional and two-dimensional types of an array which is being very used by But if someone is asked you about multi-dimensional array, then you can represent two-dimensional array as multi-dimensional array as well. Because see what exactly this one-dimensional and two-dimensional. So in one-dimensional array you just need single index to identify one particular value. So if I am telling A of 2 over here, then 100 will be identified, right? A single value can be identified uniquely. But what if I am giving you some other arrays? This is also an example of an array, but it is example of two-dimensional array. Suppose here I want to identify 30, then if I am telling A of 0, that means the first entire row will be covered. How 30 can be identified uniquely? A of 1, that means second entire row will be covered. A of 2 means third entire row will be covered. How I can identify a single value? I have to identify it by using column number as well. So if we are having rows and columns both as an index, at that time this kind of an array is called as two-dimensional array. See, you may ask that ma'am, where we are going to use this kind of arrays. So in mathematics you must have covered the subject called linear algebra. In linear algebra we used to use so many matrices which is having say A of 3, 2 matrice or A of 3, 3 matrice or 2, 2 matrices, right? So based on that we are having columns and rows, and similar way in two-dimensional array we can have a number of rows and columns. Here I have taken 3 rows and say 5 columns, right? So this is all about one-dimensional and two-dimensional array. Now how I can declare an array? Because if I am writing int A, that means A can be variable or array. How my computer will distinguish that if it is array or it is a variable A? If it is capable to hold a single value what will be the capability of an array. Here, this array can hold up to 5 elements because I have written size over there. So similar way, I can say that data type, space, array name, and inside the braces I can use size. This is how I can declare a single dimensional array or one dimensional array. For two dimensional array, I am going to show you next. So if I am declaring something like this, some structure like this will be occurred inside my memory. Initially, it will have garbage value similar to the variables. Now you can also initialize it. That way I am going to cover it next. So here, initially it will be having garbage value. Now, suppose I want to initialize this one-dimensional array, then how I can initialize it? You can directly initialize it at compile time, right? So here, you can directly write equal to after array declaration, and as you are doing with the variable initialization, you can also do it over here, but you have to enclose it inside the braces. So if you want to give 5 initial values, then you can just write 10, 20, or whatever value you want to initialize. So this is how it will be look like this. So first it was having garbage value, but now it is having some initial value. So this is the value inside a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, right? So this is all about the array initialization and initialization and declaration in one-dimensional array. Now we are going to see what if I want to initialize an array in some different way. Suppose I don't want to initialize it at compile time. I want user to enter the values. How I can use? I can use loop for that. So as array index is starting with 0, the initial condition of loop will be I equal to 0. Then how much time, how many elements should array accept? Array should accept element once it reaches to its size. So as I am starting with 0, it should reach up to size minus 1. So I am doing, I is less than size, that is 5. So it will reach up to 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? And I plus plus because I am incrementing my, iterative variable every time by one value. Inside this I can use scanf. But similar way, I cannot directly use AND A because it will be similar to my variable. So I have to use at which index I want. AND A means the variable A, but at which place of an array I want to save this value, whether it is 0, 4 or 3 or 2 or something, right? So I have to give index as well as AND A of I. So whatever value of I will be whatever value will be entered by user will store according to this index at A of I. So this is how initialization of a one-dimensional array can be done at runtime also. So we can initialize it at compile time also and runtime also, and I have seen both of these syntaxes over here. You can see A of 0 is the value entered by user. So user is going to enter 5 times different values, and that will be stored from 0 to 4 index. Okay. Now array declaration for two-dimensional array. Now as you know that for one-dimensional array I just need single index. For two-dimensional array I need 2 indexes for rows and columns. So that's why I have to use 2 box braces. That int A of size of row and size of column. Here 3 and 3 shows this is 3 cross 3 matrix, right? So this is how it will look in my memory, right? From it will start with 0th index to up to size minus 1. Now how I can initialize this? So you can initialize this in similar manner because that A of 3 cross 3, that means we are having total 9 elements. So you can directly initialize it with 9 values and it will be initialized like this. You can use this initialization at compile time. But what if, and it will look like A of 0, 0 is 10, A of 0, 1. So 0th row and first column, it is having value 20. Similar way, A of 0, 2 means 30. So this is how it will look like. In my live lecture, I am going to talk about its memory orientation, that how exactly it's being stored inside my memory, because array stored in contiguous manner, which is really very beneficial in your in your higher semester subject. You will see the importance of an array that how exactly it is organized inside my memory. But right now just understand that this is how my array look like inside the memory. Now what if you don't want to initialize it at compile time? You can also initialize it at runtime. So you can use scanf for that, and you know that first column will be first row will be filled. So for I equal to 0, zeroth column, then first column, and then second column will be filled. So for I equal to 0, I have to run a loop for 3 times. Similarly, for I equal to 1, I have to run a column for 3 times. For 0, 1, then second. And similarly for I equal to 3, I equal to 2, I have to run it for 3 times. So here I have taken nested loop for that, because for single value of I, loop is running for 3 times for each value of I. So this is how I can use scanf inside the nested loop so that I can get values. But right now you will not write A of I, because that means no unique identification. So you have to write AND A of I and J. So if I equal to 0, J equal to 0, the value will be placed inside A of 0, 0. That is the first element. If I equal to 0, J equal to 1 now, then the value will be placed inside A of 0, 1. So this is how the runtime initialization can be done. Now in our IDE, we will see that how exactly we can implement an array, and in some other videos I am going to show you some program based on one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays. I hope you enjoy this class, and if you have any doubt, you can just comment below the comment section. Thank you so much.